No. Right. So I'm here with the great Ruchi Koval, who is coach extraordinaire and someone I've looked up to for a very, very long time. And not only is exceptional at coaching, but also exceptional at what I really can't think of anyone who's a better representation about how authentic enrollment it is done. You do it so well. You're very humble about it. So I'm going to tell everyone that's paying attention and listening to this that you are absolutely masterful at the craft. And so I'm going to ask you a couple questions to figure out how you did that. Um,
Awesome, and thank you.
Amazing. So just very quickly, before we worked together, tell me a little bit about how you approached how you sell, how you approached your pricing, how you approached, fears potentially around charging lots of money. Where did you start?
Yeah. So I really had no idea what I was doing at all. And I wouldn't even say I was bad at it. I would just say I had no idea what to do. I did not know how to sell. Period. End of story. So here's what I would do. I would basically just like put on social media, hey guys, I'm offering parent coaching, da da da. And then if somebody would reach out to me, my main limiting belief, although I had many, and I still do have some, but I'm working on overcoming them, is that I am not a therapist and I do not have a degree. I do not even have a bachelor's degree and I do not have credentials. And therefore, I have to charge less than a therapist.
Wait. Let me go back even before that. Was it hard for you initially to even put out that you were coaching at all because you were like running a nonprofit? Like what was that
No,
initial? No, okay. So go ahead.
no,
So tell me.
actually, the coaching came as a natural outgrowth of my nonprofit. Like I
Okay.
would say 15 years ago, where I was the rabbi's wife, and therefore people were already asking me about parenting advice. And, even though my own kids were little, but I had seen my mother raise me and my six siblings, and my mother's a social worker, and I was just always interested in the craft. And so I did feel that I would read everything I could get my hands on. So I did feel that I had what to offer. I just, in the beginning, I charged nothing because I'm the rabbi's wife, and therefore you give your advice away for free. I also didn't know that coaching wasn't giving advice. I didn't know that that was a separate craft. Um, but once I started charging, I had this belief that I should charge less than a therapist because I'm the Rebbitzin and because I am not a mental health professional. And then what did selling look like? It looked like, when I started doing more coaching and then I wanted to run a group program. And basically, what I would tell people is all about how the program was going to be structured. I would be like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet every week, and then we're going to have 6 weeks of this. And then, you can get on a phone call with me, and then you can get in a WhatsApp group. And it was very much about describing the mechanics of the group. And then I would invite people to call me to find out more, and they would call me to find out more. And then I would say the price, and then they would say, oh, that's more than I wanted to spend, but thank you. And then I was like, what do I do next? So that's a summary of my approach to selling.
So was it so you're saying that you didn't really feel like you had the skills or the process to be able to take someone from I have this problem to I'm giving you money to help me solve it.
I
Is
didn't
that what
even know
you're
there
saying?
was a
You
process.
didn't know there was a process. What was it like for you? Because I mean, we've talked about this a lot. A lot of people don't think that sales is a skill. They think some people are just good at it and some people just suck at it and they don't realize there's a process. What were you telling yourself during all of those times where people are like, I don't want to pay that much money?
I kept saying to myself, oh, so I should make it cheaper.
Okay. And did you ever reach that point where it was so cheap that people were like, oh, I'd love to pay that?
No.
So then what did it feel like?
Then I just felt like I was banging my head against the wall. And how is it that other people are doing this and I'm not doing it? I'm clearly doing something wrong. I just don't know what it is. I'm lost. And then I canceled. I tried and canceled 2 group programs because barely anybody signed up. And it was embarrassing, like to cancel these programs because I just didn't know that I was going about it all wrong.
When you there was a shift obviously because you're an absolutely gifted unbelievable very and again this is what I'm saying now once you see it like it's crazy what was that shift for you where you shifted from talking about process and lowering price to actually enrolling people what was that like?
Meeting you was the shift.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, yeah, and
No, I'm not trying to be sweet. I'm just describing the shift. Like
What
Basically,
specifically was it that made
okay,
the shift?
okay. So you reached out to me and you're like, hey, Ruchi, I see you're doing coaching. Would you like to figure out how to get better at what you do and, make more money and this and that? And the first time you reached out to me actually was several years ago. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
And then you reached out to me this time, and I was feeling the frustration. It was the right time for me to have you reach out to me. I was feeling very, very frustrated. Like, I know I have a good product. I know that when people work with me, they value and appreciate my work. So there's something happening here. Like, this is a mystery to me that I have to solve. So when you reached out to me, one of those things you had said to me then is you were like, okay, well, what are you doing right now? What's your biggest frustration? I'm like, well, trying to launch these programs and nobody's signing up. And you're like, well, what happens when they call you? And I'm like, well, I, tell them all the things, but then when I tell them the price, they disappear. So you said to me, and this is the part that I'll never forget because this is the part that changed everything for me. You were like, oh, so what's missing is your sales process. And I'm like, what's a sales process? And you're like, well, you don't know how to sell your product. It's not that there's anything wrong with the product, it's that you don't know how to sell a product. And I'm like, there's a way to sell a product? Literally, like I feel kind of dumb admitting that out loud, but like I'm coming from the nonprofit space, which it's not that sales don't exist in the nonprofit space. You still have to sell your nonprofit services, but it's totally different in the nonprofit space. This is a whole other mindset. And then I was like, oh, that's what I'm missing. I don't know how to sell. Wow. There is a way to sell. Like there's a process, there's a wisdom, there's a framework that I could learn and do this. So that was like mind altering for me. It was such a relief, actually, because it was like, I'm not bad at this. I'm not dumb. I'm not like a client repellent. I just am missing information.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of people that come from we both come from the nonprofit background, and a lot of issues I also experienced initially was I don't want to be a salesman or saleswoman. I don't like, did you have any baggage around feeling like you were a salesperson coming into it?
Well, yeah, of course. I
Oh,
mean, even the
tell me
word
about that.
sales is so salesy,
Right. Tell me
right?
more. That this is
That,
tell me.
yeah, like when you want to use an expression that means that somebody is like slick and sleazy and underhanded, you say they're like a used car salesman. Like
Love it.
that's literally what you say. Happens to be my neighbor is a used car salesman. He's
And
awesome.
he's like a nice guy. And you
Right, right. Like, but like that's a dirty word.
right.
Oh, sales, like you're trying to con me into something, like these, multi-level marketing schemes. Like, so it just has like, it's tainted. The whole word is tainted. But now what I've learned, and this has also been a huge mind shift for me that I've turned around and taught others, is that basically I have something of value and you have something of value. When I am bringing something of value to the table and I'm enabling you to have it and you're paying me for it, we both win. It's win-win. It's not like I win, you lose. That's like the ugly salesy model is I win and you drive away a lemon. But what it really means is I have something that is of tremendous, exquisite value that you cannot provide for yourself because, like, even a lifeguard cannot save themselves from drowning. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how many initials you have after your name. Every person needs an objective person in their life who's going to help them to become their best selves. So it doesn't mean you're broken. It simply means that you need objectivity. I'm giving you something so valuable. Like, I'm so excited about what I'm offering you. And so the fact that you're paying me is like we are both going this is a partnership that we're going to both walk away happier and more fulfilled through this process. And if I am the right professional, what you're going to end up saying is that was worth every penny. You're not going to say I just got scammed.
Could you say one, I love this. Could you say something to the person, and I think this was something that you brought up also, is like, you're helping parents with children in a lot of cases, and a lot of, and for sure firsthand, and then also because of all the clients you've worked with, just how painful this process can be of raising kids and issues within child raising. And one of the big things that a lot of people struggle with is like, making, and you're not cheap. So like monetizing quote unquote someone else's pain, or they don't have enough money. How are you able to work with people at I would call it an appropriate price, right? Where you feel adequately compensated for what you do, even though you're helping people who are in pain and might not have, billions of dollars that they can just like, be willing to part with.
So it's because I believe so strongly in the value of what I
Hmm,
offer.
you're good. You're really good.
I tell potential clients, I'm like, if you work with me, this is my promise to you. I will listen to you like no one has ever listened to you before. I will ask you more probing follow-up questions than you have ever gotten in your life. I am 100% there for you. I am your cheerleader in your corner. I'm going to open your eyes to things about yourself that you never knew were there. That's not monetizing someone's pain. That's alleviating someone's pain.
Yeah. And was that a switch that you had to go through, or was that just something that experience told you after working with these people and seeing that they were able to get the healing, the support, the structure, the pathway forward in working with you in a way that they hadn't been able to before? Was that just an experiential shift, or did something happen
No,
to you? Go ahead,
it
tell me.
was a mind shift that I had to be taught. And that was for sure one of my limiting beliefs is that I'm taking advantage of suffering people. Like these snake oil doctors, like someone has cancer and they're like, here, drink my potion. Really, that's how I used to think about it. Like this mother is crying to me in pain, and I'm like, okay, so what's your credit card number?
Mhm.
I mean, that's cold and rude. I mean, that's how I used to think about it. But now, and I've been taught like through your program about this whole idea of limiting. I used to believe my limiting beliefs. I thought they were true. I didn't know that they were limiting beliefs. That is its own belief.
That's its own huge whole
Correct.
other world of like noticing that, oh, I'm projecting this on a situation. This is not actually true.
Yes, exactly. So when I started to learn about my limiting beliefs and I started to say to myself, well, if that's not a true belief, and I actually use this technique with my clients now, if that's not a true belief, then what is true? And what is true is that this person is in pain either way. I'm either going to help them or I'm not going to help them. If they don't pay me what I'm worth, they will not pay attention. They will not show up. And I've seen this happen before when I was charging low prices. They will cancel the sessions. They're going to be like, oh, hold on, I'm just doing carpal. Hold on. Yankee, are you getting in the car? Like they're just not present because it's inexpensive, it's disposable. They'll catch the next one. So they are benefiting from investing their money, their time, their brain power. They're investing their kishkas into the process, right? And I benefit because if I am not fairly adequately compensated for my work, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm going to stop because my time is extremely valuable. I don't have a lot of it. I have enormous amount of experience based on what I've gone through in my own parenting journey. That's very rare. Most people who go through the things that I have gone through in my parenting are frankly not talking about it. Neither are they sharing it with others. Many of them are not in a place of healing mode where they can help others. And from the thousands of women that I've spoken to who are mothers who have told me things. So I have a very rare and valuable commodity. And if I'm not being adequately compensated, I'm just not going to do it because it's not worth it for me. So then who am I helping? Nobody.
This is awesome. I just wanted to kind of like wrap this discussion by, yeah, just sharing like that was that was why I reached back out to you, was because I was literally I'm friends with one of your clients back when your prices were lower, and I said, oh my gosh, you have like Ruchi Koval like training you on parenting. How's it going? And I still hear my friends like, well, I think if she charged more, I'd probably take it more seriously. And I was just like, what is it really? And it's like, yeah, and it's really crazy. So just last piece before, and I would love for you just to talk about like, what you do and where and how people find out more about you. But just last piece is, if someone is like you, aware that they have something to offer, and just really stuck around getting people to either pay them the amount that they want to be charging, or that they're afraid, like you said, of all of these belief systems of like, is it worth it? Am I worth it? Or, can I actually help? What would be that one thing that you would tell them to enable them to start to move forward on their journey so that they could eventually, hopefully, do meaningful work like both of us do and be compensated well for it, which thank God both of us are.
They should take your course, obviously.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
No, I
Okay.
mean it. I read every book, I listened to every podcast, and I did not learn what I needed to learn until I started working with you.
Hmm.
That's what changed everything for me. It didn't just change everything for me as a coach, it actually changed so many things for me as a person. Learning about the concept of limiting beliefs, learning to believe in your own value, learning how to talk people through their own roadblocks. I mean, that's priceless information for just being a human in the world. I can't even say any like one quick tip. Really, my quick tip is take your course.
I'll, I'll leave it with that. That's awesome.
We did not script this.
I didn't know, not at all.
This is
Specifically.
my genuine, and I've told so many people to take your course. This is really my genuine feeling when you ask me that question.
Thank you so much. Please tell people who are watching this, again, who do you help? What do you help with? And where do people find out more about you?
Thank you. I'm a relationship coach. I help people in their relationships. I specialize in parenting and specifically in parenting teens and adult kids. Um, my website, ruchikoval.com. You can find me on Instagram, ruchi.koval.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is absolutely fantastic.
Thanks.